Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new to my channel, I invite you to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so that you can be the first to know when there's a new video posted to this channel. And if you are a current follower, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for the modification of McCall's 6886. This is one of my favorite patterns. It is my go-to pattern when I feel like I'm losing my sojo or if I need something really quick. For this tutorial, I did not cut both front and back. I cut two back pieces and then I laid them down on the mat, front sides together, making sure that you brush out all of the creases in your pattern dress so that they are ready for pinning. Then you'll begin to pin at the shoulder seams as well as your side seams. You have two shoulder seams and then you have your side seams here. Make sure you pin all the way down to the bottom. Excuse my little comfy socks there. Then for your neck hole, you're going to take your measuring tape and you're going to measure that opening there. Mine comes to 8 inches, and then you're going to double it up. Make sure you record that number that you doubled up. Once you record that number, add 1 inch for your seam allowance, and then you're ready to cut out your turtleneck. Now I did mine 17 by 8 inches high. I like my turtleneck nice and tall. I used a rotary cutter this time versus using regular scissors. I like the way it cut better. Here's what the piece looks like when it's cut out. Then you'll mark your 1/2 inch seam allowance so that when you take it to the machine, you'll be all set to go. Then you'll turn your turtleneck piece right side out and you will fold it down so that it is ready to be sewn. Next, let's cut out our sleeve pattern. As you can see, I use this sleeve pattern a whole lot. The pattern paper is about to fall apart. And you can see right there that there is a crease in the middle. And the reason being is when I cut up my sleeve, I actually cut it out in half to save more fabric. My arms are longer than this sleeve pattern, so at the bottom I added about 1.5 inches to 2 inches because I like to have my sleeve come all the way down to my wrist, maybe even a little bit over. This is what the sleeve looks like once I have gotten it all cut out. And then you will pin your sleeve together so that it'll be ready to go to the machine. So far, here's what all the pattern pieces look like. Essentially, we have 4 pieces, although there's 3 pattern pieces. We're ready to take it to the machine. Now, I use a serger to do my sleeves, but if you don't have a serger, you can use a regular sewing machine and use a zigzag stitch versus using a serger. This is my baby here. I don't use it much, but I love it. And I'll leave a link up above to show you where I did an unboxing. Make sure you remove your pins as you are sewing. You don't want to get them caught in your serger or your sewing machine. This is kind of difficult to do with one hand, but I'm doing my best, y'all. Sorry for the shaking. And here's what it looks like, all seamed up, all 4 of my pieces. Now, because I use a serger, I didn't press out my seam. So if you're using a regular sewing machine, make sure after you complete your seams that you take it to the ironing board and you press out your seam there so it'll be nice and flat. Press all of your seams as you go. And don't forget to trim your loose ends. To measure your hems, you definitely want to use a seam gauge. If you don't have a metal one, you can create one with paper using a ruler such as this one. I have a metal one, so I'll be using the one that is on the right, and I only use it for my bottom hem. For my sleeve, I use some Wonder Tape, and there's a link right up above where you can find my video on how to use the Wonder Tape. I'll leave a link down below in the description bar for both the Wonder Tape and this metal seam gauge. I'm pressing out my hems. I'm actually using a tailor's hem. One side is wool and one side is for cotton. It just kind of makes for ease to get a better crease in your clothing and your garments. When you're ironing your seam, don't go back and forth, especially for the ones that are serged, because knit already stretches. The going back and forth kind of gives it a little bit more stress. Just place your iron onto the sleeve, just give it a hard press, and then go down to the next piece. And if you want, you can turn your garment right side out and you can press from the outside as well. But here I'm just going to do it from the inside. For my arm sleeve, I use this little mini ironing board that I got from, I'm not sure if I got it from Amazon or if I got it from Joann's, but I really like this little thing. So that's what I'm going to use to press out my shoulder sleeves as well as my arm sleeve. It's small enough that it can get inside of your arm sleeve. You may have to turn it both ways. And it also gives you a lift. Like you see, I'm using my tailor's hem here, but I really didn't have to since I had the mini ironing board. I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but I'll figure it out by the time it hits the description box. And as you can see, I left some strings. Don't do that. Clip your extra strings. And then this here is my sleeve. And I'm just doing the same thing. I'm just using the mini ironing board to do it. So I know you guys caught a little glimpse of my fabric stash here. This is just a portion of it. So no judging here, okay? Those of you that sew understand. And then here are some of the patterns that I have. Now those I was actually able to organize into these little plastic shelving units. But then there's more. I gotta figure out what to do with these guys. I am just collecting these patterns. Most of them have not even been used, but yeah, no judging here. Now it's time to press up the hem to the bottom of the skirt. I'm doing a 1.5 inch because I realized that I made this too long. So that is how I'm going to start mine, and then I will press all around the dress. Then I'll actually fold it in half and then pin. It actually looks better underneath the dress. See how nice that looks? I just folded it in half and it gave it like a nice edge to it. And then I'm just gonna press it down before taking it to the machine and sewing. This time I'm using my regular machine and I'm using a zigzag stitch. So not only am I using a zigzag stitch, I'm turning my length and my width down to, I believe it was at a 1.0, making it really small so that it's hard to notice. I'm using a matching thread. I think I'm using the green matching thread for this. It's kind of hard to get this done with one hand, but I'm doing my best. So it's a small zigzag stitch that you want to use all around. Now we want to add our turtleneck to the garment. You're going to turn your garment inside out and have your turtleneck right side out. And then you're going to pin your garment, taking note of the back middle, because that's going to give you your guide as to what is the front and what is the back of the dress. And when you're done, this is what it's going to look like. I snapped a few pictures in the dress. I am loving this dress. This material is so comfy that I think I wore it almost all day. And normally I'm not in a dress all day. Up next is my favorite pick. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to click that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.